Okay, I think we're good to start this week's episode. Episode 15, We're Not Heroes. Seemed appropriate.
I mean, I keep trying to tell people.
Now, I'm going to introduce myself. I am the DM, Dungeon Master of this campaign. I'm Joseph Dunlap. This is my homebrew setting. And then we're going to go down the list on the sidebar there. Tristan, Zan, Danielle, Derek, and Bree to introduce themselves.
Okay, I'm Tristan, and I play Gaz, the elf rogue.
I'm Zan. I play Mahal, the dwarven fighter.
I'm Danielle. I play Marcira, a half-elven druid monk.
I'm Derek. I play Rook, the human paladin of Cord.
I'm Bree, and I play Israel, the half-elf ranger from the town of the city of Oasis.
Well, when we last left off our adventure, we were dealing with too many villagers is a good problem, name of episode 14, and we arrived at the river, right about where the mouse is here, between the P and the O of province of Kor. We had 150 villagers under our care all of a sudden, which was the plan to begin with, to rescue the denizens of this river village over here, but the problem was soon thrust upon us of 150 people who don't have anything more than the clothing on their backs. We made a beeline for the river here between the P and the O after doing battle with a bear that tried to eat Rook out of his armor. And there was a brief moment of heroism where everyone gained a temporary bonus, and that's going to carry over into next session. We also reached level 3, and we had a meeting at the river to discuss what we're going to do about the villagers. And I believe that the outcome of that was, if they want to split off from us, go wherever, that's cool. But we're going to the village, and then we're taking our wagon to Gamut.
It did seem like that was a position that Gaz had taken, and then others had also suggested a very similar position, so it sounded like at least most of us were on the same page.
Okay, and where we left off then at that point was there was about a dozen people who followed someone who said, hey, I'm from Waypoint, let's just all go to Waypoint. It's pretty much equidistance from where you were, as if they had gone to the village and they wanted to go to Waypoint. They took their stick weapons and whatever food they had. I'm pretty sure Zira also produced some berries for them. And then there was a few other citizens just sort of talking to you. I recall a citizen of Traverse Camp was asking about Alpheus, and Rook was saying that some part of him had been dismembered. Then Zira stuffed berries in Rook's mouth as part of his ongoing treatment. And then I said that we would pick up there with some more villager RP before we moved on. So I guess, Rook, let's pick up the conversation between you and the villager, well, not villager, but the former slave who's from Trapper's Camp. So you had told him that Alpheus was no more, and then hinted at there being a corruption sort of thing going on in Trapper's Camp. So he does have a few more questions about that. Specifically, if you had any details about what exactly you were alluding to, because all he was aware of was Alpheus had 2 goons and was making people pay money.
I'll bring up the whole immunity paper thing. The fact it made a deal with one of the leaders, whatever they're called over there, to be able to use this paper with impunity that was possibly acquired from some traveling diplomats.
Okay, he takes that all in. He realizes you're telling him that there was a corruption scheme going on, and he asks if you recall the name of the foreman, which of the 3 foremen it was, which I'm sure your character would remember the name. So he's just asking for some details. Then he says that he had a few friends there back before he got abducted by the orc tribe about 6 months ago. So he asks how a few of those are. And the only name that sticks out to you is Barton.
Barton was a friend of yours?
Yeah, he was good people. He was a trapper, and I know that he was thinking about retiring, but I don't know if he ever did that.
I don't think he quite got around to it, but it did help us overthrow Alpheus and his crew.
No kidding. Barton?
He was a bit reluctant at first, but You didn't mind once we got going.
Well, go him. If you see him, you can tell him that I think that he is, well, an upstanding fellow.
If I see him, I'll do that. What's your name?
We'll go with Jonesy. I don't know. Maybe it's a nickname, Jonesy.
Time to bust open the notes section.
Notes are great. This is definitely, if we ever see him again, he'll end up on the NPC list for Trapper's Camp, most likely.
So, I gotta ask, how does someone like you from Trapper's Camp end up getting kidnapped by orcs and brought all the way out here?
Well, it's
I would
kind
have
of a funny
imagined
story.
that anything past the desert was outside of their territory.
So I frequent Trapper's Camp, but I made a short journey towards the river around Pan, and I was going to be taken on as a passenger on one of the river boats. My goal was to do some trapping south of the West River. Unfortunately, the Orc tribe had another plan for me when they came across me and quickly subdued me and made me a slave, which was not fun at all. I don't have any of my equipment or skins or anything. I was just going to do some trapping there, do some trading and core, and then head back to the Badlands.
Alright, well, hopefully you'll be able to get back on your feet once I get you back on the, other side of the river.
Well, who knows? Maybe I can find my buddy Barton, a few other people that I knew once upon a time, and maybe they can get me back on my feet. Otherwise, I can probably just travel through Had looking for work.
Best of luck to you.
Much appreciated, much appreciated. So we had a little bit more RP going on with the villagers that I wanted to handle. Specifically, that there is an issue. Now, remember that when we paused and we had the 30-minute meeting sit down with the 5 of you in winter, all the villagers were hanging out at the river, and it was basically villager dating sim. Well, the most notable thing, of course, was that about a dozen people just split off and head towards Waypoint. But there's also, little groups forming, and wouldn't you have it? It wouldn't be surprising at all that there's actually a conflict that is occurring, where you turn right around this conversation and you see that there is 2 villagers who are currently in the middle of a fist fight in the middle of the river, and there's a group around them that are basically just cheering them on.
If I'm aware of this, I'm going to referee it. I'll make zero attempts to stop it, but I will referee it.
Fair? Okay. So give me a picture of what you're going to do.
I'm basically just going to kind of try and oversee it, make sure there's no, really cheap shots, make sure, it's a fair and, honorable fight. And once one's kind of...
Go ahead.
After you. I was just gonna say, after one looks like they've, been beaten or has given up, I make sure that the other person doesn't just keep wailing on them.
Okay, and then how will you handle if there is a cheap shot?
I'll give them a warning. If the warning doesn't do it, then I give them a cheap shot back.
So what we have someone from the River Village going up against a rough-looking fellow in his late prime who has probably been with the Orc tribe for a while, taken on some of their characteristics. And he is sort of picking on the guy, and the guy's had enough, so they're having a good old brawl. The younger one, the villager, does go for a cheap shot in the nads.
So, like I said, first time I'll call her, hey, none of that. If you're gonna fight, do it right.
So they turn to you, and they're both curious why suddenly a member of the mercenary company that's escorting them is telling them how they should fight. And they both give you a puzzled look for half a second.
You heard me.
They just sort of accept it.
Also, don't punch like that. Punch like this. See, don't hold your thumb within your palm. That's stupid. Why would you do that? You're just gonna break your thumb.
Thank you. So they continue fighting.
Is this during one of our rest times before we're getting going, or are we supposed to be moving pretty soon here?
This is at the end of the rest time. You had gotten out of your powwow sit down, and then you were talking to a few people, and then suddenly there was a fight going on.
Okay. If it's still going on for a while, and the only thing the paladin is doing is reffing, I'm gonna look to Israel and say, "We should get moving. I'll break it up."
Oh, but they look like they're having fun.
They do not. Look, we don't need to be risking injuries along this route. It's hard enough to make the road with people in good condition. I don't need them breaking each other's feet.
I suppose that's a fair point. Do we want to tell them that we're going to do that?
I mean, I'm just gonna go break it up, unless you have a different idea.
I do not. Although, if there's any argument about it, just say that I sent you, because apparently they think I'm the leader here.
That was the plan.
Fighting,
Very well.
punching.
So, I'm going to approach, and I assume these guys are just throwing haymakers.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to, get within about 8 feet, and then, in my best soldier's bark, just say, "What the hell are you two doing?"
So they turn to you now, and they say, "Well, we were told not to do cheap shots, but this woman here was teaching us how to punch."
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going to look severely at the other two.
You know who I am. What do you want from me?
And the older one of the two says, "Plus, I need to kick this one's butt."
And what exactly is the disagreement here?
He looked at me wrong.
Wait, there's a disagreement?
When they need a reason to fight.
There is a long road between here and our destination, and I don't need any extra injuries to deal with.
Okay. I'll stop if he stops, says the one who started it.
I have no idea who started it, and I don't care. Now, lacerations are a lot easier to travel with than broken bones, so unless you'd like a couple of those, break it up.
Okay, they both look sheepish, and then they separate.
We're moving out. Israel's getting the camp ready. Everybody get your stuff.
You hear that, everyone? Israel says we're moving.
I'm technically standing far enough away, but I can see it's getting broken up, so I just wave and give a thumbs up.
She's such a good leader.
After it's been broken up for a little bit, I'm gonna try and find the one who tried to throw the cheap shot, and have a bit of a talk with him. Try and encourage him to stick to the honorable methods of combat.
He explains he didn't even want to fight this guy. It's a bully who picked a fight with him.
That's no reason to abandon the principles of combat.
I don't care about the principles of combat. I wanted to do whatever it took to get this guy off me.
Oh, I can help. I know how to punch.
Can you punch him for me?
I mean, I could, but I could also teach you how to punch him better.
Okay, let's do that. I'm all ears.
Yeah, I'll train you.
Okay, that's what you're gonna spend the day doing then.
Yeah.
Okay, as I recall, it's only about midday. So we can still travel for a few hours before setting up camp. And I think that puts us arriving at the village 2 days from now exactly. Or pretty close to it. The good thing is that we're in a greener area now because the river is next to us. We're traveling along the river. Finding food shouldn't be an issue. We know how to avoid bears at this point. And also fishing is a viable option, and plenty of the villagers, from the fishing village, have already made makeshift fishing poles and spears and whatnot. So food and water are no longer going to be a problem. So we'll just be dealing with interacting with the villagers as we want to. For example, we now know that Narala's parents are with us. So I'll kind of leave it up to the group of you if there's any interactions you want to try and have between here and the village.
And when you say we know that we have Norella's parents, is that still just Rook at this point? Because we haven't had that conversation.
I would have tried to bring it up with people as we started to get moving.
I would probably go over to Narala's parents and say, your daughter loves you so much. She was so worried about you guys being gone, and now look at what's happened. Everyone's free.
I don't think it would hurt to cut back on the fairy tales where heroes wander the land and help people for free, though.
Yeah, so my friend here, he would really like it if the word doesn't get around like that. And I'd appreciate it if you would respect my friend's wishes here.
I'm just saying that given that it's our occupation, we can't afford to be doing it for free all the time.
So first off, the Idens thank Isarel for the kind words about their daughter. Then they acknowledge Lance's wishes and say that they don't intend to tell anyone that this was done for free. And in fact, if there's any way that they're able to, they're going to try and make sure that this isn't done for free. But they also just very much appreciate that you made the time and effort to free them, because life is infinitely better when you're not at the whips of an orc.
Let's just go with life's infinitely better when you're not enslaved.
Fair. That's what they thought they were saying. They also expressed an eagerness to get to see their daughter again. And they also, since it seems like Rook knows her pretty well, are interested in talking to him about what they've missed.
Shoot, if you got questions.
Okay, the questions they have: is she taller now? What's she like now? Is she still just as sweet and as stubborn as always? And where did you meet? And where did she find you? And what did she say? And did she talk about them?
Okay. Yes. Could you go over that like one more time, just slower?
Is she taller now? Yes. She grew at the age of 22 in a month.
I don't know. I have no clue. They're not. I don't exactly have any basis to go off of, so I'm going with yes.
Yes,
100%.
no, maybe, yes, Gamut, yes.
That was the idea, but I have to have like the questions a bit slower.
You impressed them by answering them in reverse order, Rook.
So they apologized for their excitement. You know, up until yesterday, they thought their daughter was dead for several weeks. So they slow down and they say, well, where did you meet Narala?
She found us in Gamut.
Gamut. I've never heard of a Gamut.
The town about a week's journey to the north of your village?
Kobolds?
I didn't say Are you okay?
Well, you said it was north of their village, so...
Yeah, I said about a week north.
So they turn to each other. What's a week north of us? Is that the
You know,
kobolds or is
just a
that
little
the
bit-
forest?
I mean, it's like a little bit south of the forest.
Oh, okay. Wow, she really traveled far. How did she get there?
The long way.
You've piqued their interest.
If I recall her tale correctly, she went over to Waypoint and what's that one with the M?
Moraven.
Up to Waypoint, then Moraven, and then whatever that small one is in the O of the province of Had.
Oh goodness, what a journey. So they're super proud of her.
And then back up to Gamut. Or Gamut. Yeah.
And is she still just as sweet and stubborn as always?
Definitely stubborn.
Yes, stubborn for sure.
That elicits a chuckle from the father. The sort of chuckle that gets you in trouble with your spouse. You know, like jab the wife and say, see? Told you, she takes after you. They have plenty of other questions if Rook just wants to spend the day getting to know them. Because they do get the impression that Rook was somewhat close to her. So that puts 0 with teaching someone how to fight, and Rook just getting his ears talked off by the Idens. And what's everyone else going to be doing?
Oh, I'm going to be sitting with Winter scratching her ears, watching Rook embed himself in this family in the worst possible way.
Alright, sorry, my mom needs something. Uh, where was I?
I was just saying that if you let them, the Idens are going to talk your ears off for the rest of the trip.
I mean, I don't really have a problem with it so long as I can still effectively keep an eye out.
Yeah, they'll try to be careful about that, but just like before, they just keep offering you food and just talking to the nice young man. Does anyone else have anything that they wanted to do on the journey?
Mahal is just gonna polish up and keep his axe nice on the way.
Ooh, Mahal should have a fan club.
Okay.
Just some of the former slaves who just think that he is the coolest, most strongest thing with the coolest hair. Some of them might actually be preteens who just think they want to grow up to be like Mahal.
Well, they can't grow too much if they want to be just like him.
Right, and now that's their goal now, is to not grow too much. I like hair boys, Tristan. Call the fan club hair boys. That's what they're going to call themselves. Then they ask, Mahal, should we call ourselves hair dwarves? Are we honorary dwarves now?
You most definitely are not. Have you fought anything?
They look at each other. And again, it's mostly preteens with a few young adults. I caught a fish. It was really big. It was like 6 feet long.
I'm gonna take your word that you caught that, as unlikely as it is, but I'm afraid that's not enough to make you an honorary dwarf.
Oh, shucks. So they're going to continue just helping you with whatever you need help with. You've got groupies if you want them. Although they're just mostly men who want to be like you. Maybe, the buff woman who had the bow, she's there too. And then let's see, what else? So I imagine that Lance and Isarel are going to spend a lot of time just sort of being administrative incapacity, is that right?
Yeah, I'm assuming that people are coming to me with some questions, or that I'm helping organize and make sure everyone's kind of like moving forward here.
Yes, your diplomacy bonus that you've been experiencing. Hold on. You just got to be a leftover giant turd to be a dwarf. Anyway, that diplomacy bonus that you got in the moment of heroism that the group was getting bonuses is helping a lot. And overall, if your character is wanting to become any sort of leader, this is her chance to sort of learn all about that, because there's a lot of delegation going on, a lot of decisions to be made, and that's the main thing about being a leader, is just make the decision, even if it's bad.
Yes, I think that Isarel would find an interest in becoming a leader of some sort. She wants to help people, clearly, and have the, she wants to help people have better lives and stuff like that. So yeah, she's definitely going to be learning quite a lot from this experience.
And then I guess that leaves Lance, if there's anything that Lance wants to do other than just sort of being Isarel's left hand or right hand.
Mostly I'm lending my support in the form of the quiet intensity that will ensure that people do not question her orders, and also petting the dog, during which I maintain that quiet intensity, which I'm hoping strikes people as amazing.
So you're going to make eye contact while petting the dog that is half your size or bigger, and in that way you can assert dominance.
I mean, it just means I don't have to bend over while doing it, so it's easier to assert dominance.
Well, you are now the awesome, pointy-eared man. Wait, are you showing your ears?
I mean, I have a hood, goes up and down.
Okay, you are the awesome man with the dog. And no one better cross you. By the way, yeah, exactly. By the way, Zira, you now have 3 people, including the person you've been helping, who want you to teach them the way of the monk.
Yes, she will happily teach them.
You've got your own little monk school, at least for the next 2 days. So that takes care of this day of travel. We no longer need to worry about the logistics of camp or day-to-day events. So if there's anything that we wanted to take care of between here and the river village, this is the chance. Otherwise, I'll just sort of tell you how things progress.
It sounds like we've mostly got the minutia figured out. The villagers have shown that they can use their skills that they've already honed to get food. And now that we're on the river, I imagine that's going to be even easier since it's more in their element, so to say. So I think we mostly just have to worry about wild animals.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. The only difference now between them being home and being not home is that they don't have a house.
Yeah. We probably have the means by which they could get some spears or fishing implements, net. We can help them make a net.
That is something that, as a group, you can kind of marvel at, is the fact that they've shown to be resilient, and once they're at the river, like they feel like they're at home. You don't have to worry about them as much. They've got little fishing spears and little hooks and some makeshift netting and all kinds of stuff that they're just sort of at home now. One other note is every so often there'll be a group that will say, we're going to split off, we're going to head our own way. So by the time we get near the village, we're down to less than 24 people, less than half of the people that aren't from the river village coming with you. You are aware that there is a group that are from the Badlands that will split off from you when you reach the village. But other than that, it's just sort of, well, they're there, and they're following us almost, wouldn't say religiously, but very much indebted in their minds. Now, by the time we reach the village, and I will advance the date later on, that's not important, but it will be the 12th of Obed. By the time we reach the village, I'll give you some updates on how everything's going. Isarel and Lance have done really well for themselves as the pro-tempore leaders of this group. Yeah, the splinter groups are getting out of paying you as well, but everyone keeps making promises that maybe they can keep one day. Let's see. Zan has a nice little fan club of people who want to be honorary dwarves that want to visit the Dwarven Mountains and grow beards. Some of them currently unable to do so. Some of those people are adults. Then we've got Zira, who now has 3... Well, they want to be monk apprentices, but it would be presumptuous for me to assume that she is taking on monk apprentices. But there are 3 people who very much want to become monks now.
She will tell them about the monastery and that they could try to go there if they want to learn more.
Okay, the cursor is over here. It's up where it says Tealsday, but there is a monastery up there near the Goblin Crags, so they decide that when they're ready, they're going to make that pilgrimage up to the monastery. Now, it's anyone's guess as to whether they actually will, or whether they'll lose interest in 2 days, but that's what they promised. Then we get to Rook, who is quite on good terms with the Iddens at this point, as well as just overall with the clan that you have all acquired. He sort of, just like he was in Gamut, sort of made a name for himself as the big, strong, brave one, and everyone's very grateful for him to have thrown himself between them and the jaws of a great bear and allowed the bear to bite him instead of them. Even if that's not necessarily what he was trying to do, was get bitten.
Yeah, it meant the beast was standing still for the rest of us to shoot it.
I mean, that's a very good tank. I will say that by the time you reach the river village, you have acquired money. People came to Isarel as a group and insisted that she accept this, but they managed to scrape together 150 gold per person.
Okay, I have a question.
It's in belongings.
Okay.
Some of them happen to have certain items that they had stowed away that were worth something that the orcs never got a hold of because it was only a few weeks.
Wow, we each get 150?
Yes, all told, by the time that they're all done, and this includes being at the village, by the time they're all done giving you gifts and things that you can sell, you will have reached the whopping wealth of 500 gold pieces per person on average. But yes, I'm giving you each 150 now, so we don't have to worry about it later. So precious gems, maybe special cloths of clothing, all kinds of things that they think maybe you might be able to sell at the next settlement that you go to. Plus things that they happen to have in their homes when they get to the village.
Fantastic.
So this is just stuff that they managed to hang onto during their enslavement?
Some of it is butt watches, yes. But there's also personal belongings in the village, and also like fine cloths. But yes, some of it is butt watches. So now we are arriving at the village. The date is the 12th. I'll change it later. It's not important. But we're down to the village itself plus roughly a dozen people that are sticking around that aren't from the village. So it's not quite the problem that you were made to believe, or at least they attempted to make you believe, of there's not room for this many people, 50 people to live in our village. These 12 could easily live in this village without much trouble. When you arrive at the village, you're greeted by, let's see here, Rowan, Narala Idin, and also Frard of Gamut with his wagon and his horses. So Narala sprints to hug her parents' necks, and everyone just basically sort of like filters through the center of the village. Some immediately go into their homes, some just sit there, and then the 10 to 12 who aren't from the village are just sort of loitering. But yeah, we're now at the village.
That was a surprisingly safe journey along the river.
It's a very peaceful river. So is there anything that anyone wants to do while we're here at the river before we talk to Frard about leaving?
I mean, I just suppose that we should make sure, it's kind of including Isarel in this thought, that the people who want to split for the hotbox are, going to be able to do that without any further help. So, just make sure that people are ready for us to depart.
Okay, that discussion is had. No pun intended. And then as you head to talk to Frard, you notice that there's a group of 5 or so people following you. Like with that look that they're expecting something.
I turn to the others and go, don't look now, but I think we got some followers.
Do you need something?
They stop when you turn and address them. They say, yes. Is it time to go to Gamut now?
If you're wanting to go to Gambit, you're gonna need to walk.
How many of them are there?
5.
How many can fit in the wagon?
You can easily fit 5 or possibly even 6 people in the wagon.
In addition to us, or just including us?
Total.
Were there 4 of us and a dog?
Yeah, a cart driver.
5 of you and a dog and Frard.
So yeah, full cart.
They haven't given a reason why they're going with you to Gamut, by the way. They're just indicating that they sort of assumed that's what was going to happen next.
It sounds like you're expecting to travel with us.
They shift their feet a little bit, look at each other, and one of them says, well, Gamut is my home, and you've taken us this far. I thought, since you were going to Gamut, that we were going with you.
Well, don't assume things. If you want to do something, you've got to discuss it with us. We had 3 days on the river during which you could have done that. And secondly, we have a wagon waiting to take us, and we're trying to make haste. There isn't room in that wagon for all of you. I'm not picking my favorite.
Well, obviously it would be me, because I'm actually from Gamut.
I assume that's going to start a fight with the other 4.
I mean, clearly they're
Why
not pleased
should
with
it
what
get
he
to
just
be
said.
you? We want to go just as badly.
Well, I mean, I'm in a bigger hurry than these 4 are. Now they're quite angry. So, like, anything you want to say here that's going to seal the deal on stop bothering me and trying to come with me is probably going to work now.
In any event, we've paid for our wagon to take us. The road between here and Gamut is relatively safe as long as you leave the kobolds alone.
Kobolds? That can't be safe.
Why not?
Aren't kobolds evil beings? Monsters.
What? No.
Stupid, maybe, but not necessarily evil.
That'd be like saying humans are naturally evil or dwarfs are naturally evil. They're just living.
Stupid, maybe, but not evil.
They didn't attack us.
Oh.
They
then
just looked at us.
Okay, we'll just leave them alone then.
Well, to be fair, Zira, when they attacked us, as I recall, we provoked them.
I would like to know exactly which kobolds you're talking about, because between Gamut and here, we didn't fight any kobolds.
I meant the ones at the farm. Oh,
Right.
She wasn't there.
Zero wasn't there, and also that wasn't between here and Gamut. Different
Indeed.
kobolds.
But they're so cute.
I mean, maybe, I guess, some of them.
I even named 3 of them.
I didn't know that.
Bam, Bam, and Bim.
Oh, those are fantastic names.
Guess I need to make a character sheet for those kobolds now.
Yeah. And a trench coat.
How are you even telling?
Wait,
How are you telling the kobolds apart? Even?
Well, that's like saying all dwarves look the same.
Oh, 3 of them came
Wait,
up
they
to me
don't?
while I held watch one night.
I thought we only saw them from a distance.
No,
Wait.
they got really close.
Besides, some are red, some are orange, some are blue, some have stripes, some have spotting on their scales.
What's red?
Are you colorblind?
I'm starting to
raise
think
my
I might
hand.
be.
This is a very interesting discussion that I don't want to have in front of the 4 yahoos who want our wagon.
Well, I haven't had the yahoos interrupt your conversation because I presumed it probably wasn't being done in the open.
Oh, I just imagined that we had followed off on a tangent after starting in on them.
I mean, none of this was like super secretive, so I had no intention of running off somewhere to discuss it in private.
You know, I just didn't want you talking about fighting kobolds when we're trying to say you don't have to fight kobolds.
Well, if you're having this conversation in front of the yahoos, then the uppity fellow from Gamut is going to point out that Mahal's mohawk is in fact red.
I thought it was gray.
No, it's orange.
Yeah, that's orange.
Orange, red, so it's close enough.
I think a lot of...
But my hair is red.
No, it's orange.
No, it's red.
No, that's pink.
What?
Pretty sure it's just orange. You guys know there's only like 3 colors in the world, right?
I'm starting to think that all of you are colorblind. Or at least both Mahal and Rook.
I presume Gaz isn't wearing this, but if he was, that would bring up his color.
Yes, I am not wearing that while we were out trying to be intimidating and soldier-like. I wear that when I'm in cities and want people to think that I am not a threat. I noticed that my sheet is now cursive-y, like Elven.
Well, yeah, that's the font that I've been using for the new fancy character sheets, and also you have a little thing for aliases.
I do. Oh, there they are. Disarm, Dirk, Lance, Bow. Yeah, you got them.
Okay, Zan says in Discord, it's canon that Mahal has deuteranopia, red-green
Okay.
colorblind.
Yes.
Okay, all that to say...
You stole my bit!
Really? Had you already chosen that you were going to be red-green colorblind?
Yep.
That's
I even
hilarious.
discussed it with you in the
I
past.
didn't.
I
didn't
didn't
know that.
remember. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago and it didn't come up.
I guess that means we have 2 people who have red-green colorblind.
It's just doubly funny because they're also competing with each other for biggest weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Okay, well, you have convinced
I mean,
the...
mine's clearly bigger.
I'll argue that my axe isn't as big. It's a dwarven war axe.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. He's tiny, it's tiny. Yeah, mine's clearly better.
By this time, I think these 5 people know that we are mostly insane and don't want to travel with us.
You had already convinced them that they shouldn't go with you, but now they don't want to.
Oh, I wrote a poem. Want to hear it?
I sure do.
Inflict it.
It's something called the haiku. Let's see. She takes up her hands and starts counting. Big Chief was a wuss. He could barely land a blow. It was funny though.
Good one.
I really like that.
That was a good haiku. Thank you.
I'm in stunned silence. I like that someone wrote a haiku about something that happened in the game. Sadly, the 5 Stooges weren't there to hear it.
I don't know that it would have improved our rapport with them.
No, but her 3 monk apprentices very much liked it. They want to know if she wants to teach them how to make haikus.
Alright. You need 5 syllables, and then 7, and then 5.
575?
Yeah.
Please tell me one of them asks what's a syllable.
What's a syllable?
Can someone else explain that?
I looked
I'm not good at
aghast.
explaining things.
Is it a word?
Is that how you break up a word? Like how you slice up something into pieces
No,
with a
it's
knife?
I think it's an instance of a form of reasoning in which a conclusion is drawn from 2 given or assumed propositions, each of which shares a term with the conclusion and shares a common or middle term not present in the conclusion.
You lost me.
You lost the villagers, too.
Oh, wait, is that a syllogism?
But what's the
That's a
one...
syllogism.
What's the one where there's a play and then someone stops and then talks about their thoughts?
That's a
Soliloquy?
soliloquy.
Oh, okay. Well, now nobody knows how to write a haiku except Zira. After the awkward silence that is them being ashamed of not knowing what a soliloquy is, that's where we're going to work on getting everyone settled for the night. Now, anyone who has a home is just going to go to their homes, but the group of you plus the dozen or so people who are not from this village are going to be given places to stay. And so the question is whether you as a group want to stay together or whether you would like to be put up by different host families.
Whatever's most convenient for them. I imagine that no one house has room for all 5 of us, in addition to its regular occupants.
It's a fair point. They were going to just sort of make room if there was a house that you wanted to just have to the 6 of you.
I'm good with whatever.
You know, like a frat house. Otherwise,
Or
they're...
there'll be a keg.
You know, if you want to ask for a party, you probably will get a party.
I mean, I'm not going to push anybody outside their comfort zone. We did share a tent for half a night, so I'm not bothered by it.
Let's all stay together. I'm good with that.
Well, okay, Mahal's followers are kind of wondering, is he saying that it's time for a party?
Oh no, I was saying that out of character.
Okay. Careful. So, we're going to do... so, Isabel has said she wants to keep the party together?
Yeah, we can all stay together.
Okay. Then, one of the larger houses, that's one of the more well-off members of the village, they're going to just let you have that house for the night, and they're just going to stay with one of their friends. So that means that all your followers, groupies, apprentices, underlings, they're all going to leave you alone for the night.
These people have never met adventurers before, have they?
Adventurers are not that common.
I don't know if they are familiar with the term carousing.
You'd have to explain that one just about as well as you explained haiku. And syllable.
Syllogism.
So that said, you get a house all to yourselves. You can just sort of each take a part of the house in your own room and just sort of spread out and whatnot. And there's a river if you need to go bathe, and it's just going to be a nice evening.
Foreshadowing.
I didn't say I was foreshadowing anything, Tristan. There's not enough time to kill anything.
You're right. It's already nighttime. I've got my nightcap on.
Yeah, what's
I
the
think
worst
it's-
that could happen?
I think it's time for an arm wrestling match.
Just point at Mahal and be like, "You wrestle him."
Yep, that's kind of what I'm getting at here.
Point my other hand at Zira or her.
There's wrestling?
Arm wrestling, yeah. What? You've never done that before?
I definitely have. I just wasn't expecting you can get a challenge here.
I gotta do something to pass the time.
Well, I will definitely accept your challenge.
I want to face the winner.
I'm going to pour a couple of cups of water and sit down next to Isra wherever she is, offer her the second one.
Yes, I am pretty tired from everyone's questions and trying to lead and figure out this thing I've never really done before. So I'm just sitting, somewhere right off to the side on a chair, a little bit out of it, and but enjoying what's about to happen. So
You did a good job out there.
I really tried.
Leading's not easy. I don't think anybody in life actually has a knack for it, but some people take to it, after a fashion.
Well, it was exhausting, but it does make me feel better that people are happier.
I figured you'd do a good job, so... Cheers. You protected a
Cheers.
lot of people. And some home safe.
I got a 19 on my strength check. What'd you get?
And now you just have to worry about the normal idiots again.
I don't think my 11 wins.
I'll just, put up my, if I hear not Rook, if I hear guys say that, I'll just put up my other hand like, yo, I will acknowledge I resemble that remark. I just don't care right now.
It's good to have it simple.
Here's what we'll do, since now we need to have mechanics for arm wrestling. So if you beat someone by 10 on a single roll, you immediately win. If you beat them by 5 or more, then you are a roll away from winning. And then if you just beat them by fewer than 5, then you have advanced along the track. And we'll say that the track is 4 successes, but 5 or more is 2 successes instead of 1.
Okay.
So you are 1 out of 3 tracks to win.
I would be 2. I beat him by more than 5. I just didn't quite beat him by 10.
Okay. So you are 2 victories away from winning.
All right. Round 2. 4.
I got an 8.
So we're now back at even.
No, I still have a 1 point advantage because he only
you're right,
beat me by
yeah.
4.
Mm-hmm. So you are at 1 out of 4 victories.
Dirty 20.
23.
Okay, you're at 2 victories.
10.
22. No,
And you
sorry, 21.
You slam his hand against the table.
Oh,
Well earned. Well earned.
all right,
Something
Zero,
like
come
that.
on, you're up.
Oh, you
Zero's
won.
next.
Do we just
Oh,
use
come
your
on,
strength,
you weren't even paying
strength
attention.
bonus, or do we use base attack modifier or base attack bonus?
I think they were just using strength. Is that right?
I was just using
going off
strength.
Okay. Okay, let's do this.
While this is going on, I will say Winter is hanging out with Isarel and Gaz.
12.
17.
Okay, 2 points for Rook.
Come on, Zira. I've got money on you.
What you do?
Kick his ass.
She gets distracted and gets a 7.
I'll say, put me down for 20. 15.
So 1 more victory, Rook.
Wouldn't that be 2 more?
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. It is 2. So yes, Rook has won the arm wrestle.
Tear up my ticket.
You had a ticket?
Oh, yeah. You have to have a ticket to bet.
Guess that means I don't get my money. I didn't have a ticket.
I slide 2 gold to Isarel.
Oh,
I just assumed we were betting.
sure, why not?
I'm gonna go give Winter some victory pets.
They're really good pets.
Of course they are.
sorry.
They're victory pets.
I'm sorry,
Don't-
Winter. I didn't win.
Don't roll strength for those pets.
Winter doesn't know that you lost, so it's all good.
She's taking it so well.
So anything else as we hang out in the frat house?
Nope, I think that'll do for me.
That does
Okay.
for me.
Same.
So we got a little bit more we can do. Bree, what time did you need to leave?
Another hour is fine.
Oh, so we can go full length. Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, at worst, I'll cut out 15 minutes. So another 45 minutes maybe, but
Okay, I plan on us going another half hour tops. Let me know what the last thing was that happened.
I heard you say like 2 words about like the fish that they gave us, and that's all I heard.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So occasionally my internet decides, so that happens. So I'm not going to have you worry about food between here and Gamut because of all the things that you've been gifted by people and all the fish that's been caught that they've given you. They're really just taking to their lives again, just like nothing happened. And you were gifted a whole bunch of food and gifts and things, thus the money, and thus the not having to worry about food between here and Gamut. So the people who wanted to go to Gamut, they're not giving you a hard time anymore. Maybe it's because they don't want to deal with you anymore because you're crazy, or maybe it's because you convinced them otherwise. In either case, you can get on the wagon with Frard. Now, I would like to give you a chance to say your goodbyes.
I wanted to find out if Rook was going to get his blessing. But I am curious as to the condition with Rowan, since he had been having a difficult time of things when no one was here, and now we've inundated him with a couple hundred people.
Yes, that is a fair concern. He did kind of lose his marbles when everyone got taken away, and he was convinced he was the only survivor of a village and just kept living in it.
So I'd like to go check on him.
Okay. So it's morning, and you go and you check on Rowan. He's in the house that you know that he lives in, which is not far from the Iden's home.
So if I go knock just on the door like any normal guest, what happens?
You don't hear anything.
I'm gonna walk the perimeter and see what I see.
Okay? Looks just like it did last time you were here.
I guess I'll just go in the way I did before.
Okay. The lock has not been resecured after you picked it.
And I'm going to hope that he's just doing the same thing he was before, I suppose, as I schnick in.
Okay, you walk into his home, and if you want to do move silently and hide, you can.
Hide is 27.
Nice. And then what about move silently?
Move silently is an 18.
Okay, you stealthily stride into Rowan's home because the door wasn't locked, and you were very sneaky, and you see him hanging out in his living room, his front room, where he was last time. He's not like holding his knees and rocking. He's just sitting in his chair, watching the fireplace and not doing anything.
I guess I will move over to the front door if I can. If it's possible to move there without being noticed.
You going to the front door?
If it seems I can get there without being noticed, yes.
It'd be difficult.
Okay. Do it be difficult with a 27 and an 18?
I rolled opposite that, and he didn't see you.
Okay. Then I guess that is what I did. And I schnook there. And then I'm going to knock on the front door and see how he reacts now that I can see him rather than standing outside the door knocking.
So you're standing inside the house doing a knock-knock?
Doing a knock-knock on the front door.
He turns and looks at you and says, "Ah, you've returned."
Yes. How are you feeling, Rowan?
I am well.
We've brought back the villagers. The ones who were taken by the orcs.
Ah, that is what I've heard. Yes. That is why Narala did not come see me this morning.
Have you been spending time with Narala while we were gone?
She's been good company.
I noticed no one came back here.
No, I live alone.
Did you lose someone to the orcs that did not return?
He shakes his head no. He's either a widower already or a bachelor.
The loss of the other villagers seemed to have affected you. I thought maybe you would be in a better place once we'd returned them. Is something still the matter, Rowan?
I just need time to adjust. This whole village was silent, and now there's nothing but voices.
Is there anything I can do to help you in the meantime? We are about to depart, so you will be here adjusting without us.
I don't suppose there is anything you can do.
Anything you need to hear?
How many did you bring back?
About 100?
Ah, so basically everyone. That is good.
I unfortunately wasn't able to get much in the way of confirmation. We did rescue some others as well who were not from here, but they have mostly departed for their original homes.
That is good. That is good. Well done.
Want me to light a candle or anything in here? It's pretty dark.
Yes, I had meant to light the fireplace.
Let me help you with that.
Thank you, friend.
I'll get the hearth going.
So Rowan's going to stare into the fireplace. He says, if you see Narala, tell her she can come say hi. And the Iddens, good people.
I will let them know that you are expecting.
Now, is there anyone else in the group that wants to say goodbye to one of the denizens of the village? Say groupies, friends, anything like that?
I'm
No,
good.
I might check in on Narala one last time before we head out.
Okay.
Sarah will also speak to the 3 students.
Yes, okay. Let's do that first. So you say goodbye to your 3 students, and they insist that one day they will see you again. They will go to the monastery. They will receive their training one day soon. Seems like perhaps one of them is more serious than the other 2. They totally swear they're going to. And they thank you for taking an interest in them.
Yeah, good. It's really important to know how to defend yourself.
They nod sagely, because you have now taught them everything that they think they need to know. So now we move on to Rook. You have gone to visit the Iddens. Yeah, we're up now. Sorry about that. So I was saying that Rook is going to visit the Iddens and knows where that house is because he's seen Narala go into that house before.
I presume that we are close to heading out in the morning or something.
Yes, everyone's saying their goodbyes in the morning.
Alright. So I'll go and, knock.
Okay, the door is opened by Mrs. Idden.
Oh, I was just hoping to say my goodbyes to some of you before me and my group headed out today.
Yes, young man, it's so good to see you. Do you need breakfast?
Oh, I'm good. I already ate.
Are you sure? We have some eggs.
His stomach growls.
Please come in. Eggs. Eggs for the young man.
I'll come in somewhat reluctantly.
You'll have to excuse the place. We haven't lived here for a month.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
So she prepares some food for you and explains the husband has gone out fishing and Narala has some errands that she left on and she'll be back shortly.
Sadly, I don't have time to go hunting down everyone, so whoever can't make it back here will sadly just have to hear my goodbyes from you.
She talks your ear off as usual, calls you young man all the time, and shortly Narala returns and says, Oh, Oh, Rook is here.
Yes, I just came by to say my goodbyes, and your mother was kind enough to offer me breakfast.
She laughs because it's something her mother would do. And the mother says, "By the way, you, young lady, you haven't had breakfast either. Sit, sit." So she makes eggs for both of you. And then she makes you have an extra helping because you're a growing boy.
For the record, my character isn't, young. Just putting that out there.
Yes, but the older you are, the younger everyone is that is younger than you.
Fair enough.
So she thinks you're a growing young man who needs to have extra eggs. And Narelle is kind of quiet, but she seems pleased to see all of you. And she says, "So you're going to be heading home today?"
Yes. Well, not home. I obviously have no intentions of going back there. But, we will be heading to Gamut and then off to, whatever that city was to the,
Afrin.
east. That's it.
She nods and says, "Yes, I've been to Afrin. It's okay. It's big. It's very big."
We're hoping to find some more work there and, trying to find out what some nonsense we stumbled across in Trapper's Camp has to do with them.
She shrugs. She has no idea what you're talking about, although maybe you explained some element of it at some point.
I'm fine with it being vague.
She nods and says, "Well, good luck on your quest, sir."
Much appreciated.
She's being very cordial, very friendly, but not cold, but also not quite as familiar as she was last time.
Makes sense.
And then
Knock, knock, knock.
Knock, knock. Okay. Lance is knocking on the door. And Mrs. Iden goes and lets him in.
Yeah, I just came to... Oh, Rook, you're here. I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Rook seems
Nope.
to be in the middle of a giant breakfast of eggs.
Just came to say goodbye and got offered some food.
Going to, just, like, steal a piece of tableware and take something off of his plate and eat it. So, in any event, I just came to let the Idens know that I had just spoken with Rowan, and he would not mind hosting you this afternoon.
Ah,
In fact,
yes.
He's hoping that you'll pay him a visit.
Yes, nice young man. Yes, we shall give him a visit. And Narelle nods and says, yes, he's been very good company the past few days.
Indeed, he had similar to say. Out of curiosity, just because he seemed to be in a fragile state recently, has he suffered a loss that we should be informed of?
Not recently, no. He's just a very quiet man who's been through a lot.
Indeed. I was concerned for his health, and so, he seems to like you people, so I figure I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't let you know that he would probably benefit from your company around now.
Very well, we will see to him then.
Appreciate it. There isn't much more we can do for the village, as we must be on our way soon, Rook. But, on behalf of Isarel, I wanted to thank you and Mr. Iden for helping us to delegate the duties.
And thank you for being our liberators. I won't say heroes. Liberators. Seems fitting.
Gaz will smirk at that. Just say. And that's what you tell anybody else who asks. Good day, ma'am.
Good day, young man.
Rook, hurry up. I'm gonna just close the door behind me and leave.
Doesn't take long for Rook to finish the pile of eggs that he has been given as a second helping so that he can be on his way.
And I will, be on my way as time permits.
So now, I think that's it because there was no one else who wanted to say their goodbyes. Although, Mahal's fan club does sort of wave at everyone as they get on the wagon and leave.
Mahal just raises his axe and acknowledges.
They
Not
do
even
their,
very much.
They do their best attempt at a dwarven growl. Rawr! And they raise their arms.
It hurts Mahal on the inside.
Tell me they've all shaved their heads into the best mohawks they can muster.
They did not. But they're not true dwarves, so... So now Frard is going to take you back to Gamut. The journey to Gamut, again, you don't need to worry about food or anything. You do see the same thing that you saw on the way on the way south. You do see occasionally kobolds watching you as you go by. If you wish to tell them to shove off, for example, then you can. They're not going to approach your camp like they did before, but they are going to keep a curious eye on you.
Yeah, I mean, if they continue to be unobtrusive, I guess I would just return the curious eye as opposed to yelling at them to piss off this time around.
Since you are getting more chances to observe these kobolds, your hunch that this is different kobolds than the ones that you fought against is pretty much confirmed. They overall have a different shade of leathery skin, and their spears are much more crude, more homemade looking, less like it was crafted by a professional or someone who knew what they were doing. It's more for hunting, it looks like. They wear a different kind of clothing, a different style of loincloth, I suppose. They may even be a different height.
Hey, Israel,
Yes.
you're a ranger. Those guys are still giving us the observant eye. Why don't you, make friends? I'm curious about them. Are you?
I suppose so. It's probably better than trying to like hurt them.
Exactly my thoughts.
Do we want to try to go communicate with them?
Yeah, I think that could be fun.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
We should do it slowly and carefully.
All right. Do you want me to go first, considering I have recently had a good luck leading people and communicating.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. You're more in tune with nature and the like.
This is probably true. What should I be rolling for?
You tell me what you want to do, and I'll tell you the roll.
How far off are they?
They're always just sort of hanging out on the fringes of the hills, and you're not necessarily close to the hills, so it would be at least 5-10 minutes to get anywhere close to them.
Okay, well, I'm definitely gonna start walking over there, and if there's any way that I can start waving or something like that, just to see how they might react.
Yeah, probably just make sure they can see you don't have any weapons in your hands.
If, say, you walk 100 feet towards them, they'll take 50 feet, they'll step 50 feet back, or 25, or whatever. They're not trying to get away from you, they're just trying to keep a respectable distance, just to see what your intentions are.
Okay, so I'm walking up to them. Don't have weapons. I have both my hands free, and I wave every once in a while, one side and then the other. And at one point, I'll stop, and I'll put my hands around my mouth and say, "Hello."
A few of them wave back, the rest just seem confused, and one of them tries to say hello back. Oh!
Hello.
Oh!
I think they're mimicking you.
I think they are.
Do you speak Draconic?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, let me give it a shot. And then my best Draconic say, "Hello out there. Do you speak Draconic?"
They nearly crap themselves.
Well,
They
that
s-
seems to have done it.
They start at hearing you call to them in Draconic with such a deep, booming, manly voice. And one of them calls back in a squeaky voice and just says, "Hello?"
Yes, hi. We don't mean any harm. We would like to actually meet you.
But you're so big and scary.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Why
No
big
weapons! No weapons!
No weapons. Why big scary people want meet us?
Well, you're always watching. We figure you think we're interesting. We think you're interesting.
They're getting frustrated with trying to hold a conversation this way by shouting across multiple hundreds of feet.
I'm going to turn to the others and say, I think I've got their interest.
Okay, good.
What are you saying? Actually, more importantly, what are they saying?
Huh? They want to know why such big scary creatures as ourselves are out here wanting to make friends.
Well, did you tell them we thought they looked interesting?
That's actually exactly what I told them.
I just think having friends is neat.
Can I roll a spot check?
Go for it.
Ah, that wasn't very high. 16. I want to try to spot Bam, Bem, and Bim. The ones I named.
Oh, your three friends. Okay, with a 16, you think maybe one of them might look familiar.
Are they getting closer now since you said they were tired of shouting?
A few of them have taken some steps closer, but they still don't know if they can trust the woman who is walking out towards them.
Does she have a dog?
Probably not.
No, probably not.
Yeah, it's everybody here is safe. Just tell me what you want to say to her. I'll translate.
The one that you've been talking to sighs, because now he has to talk to you by shouting again. And in his squeaky voice, he says, I don't know what I want to say. I didn't think I'd get this far.
He says he doesn't know what he wants to say, but he's a little bit afraid of you. Well, do you want her to come back over to us?
I'm just confused. What are we doing?
Making friends.
Friends. We want friends. And you hear the crowd around him all saying, friends, friends, friends. Now, what everyone else hears is just squeaky, draconic squeaking. Friends, friends, friends. And now they're all chanting it.
Is that a good thing?
I think so. They're chanting the word friends. I told them we wanted to be friends.
Friends, friends, friends.
Yeah, friends. We can be friends if you come speak to us closer.
My mother warned me against that.
You have a very smart mother. Always respect your mother.
I do respect my mother.
I'm assuming we still have a little bit of food left. I'm gonna pull out one of the fish that the villagers gave and offer it up in my hand.
Okay, one of them squeaks in draconic and eyes the fish. And what Gaz hears is, ooh, fish good. Now they're all saying, fish good, fish good.
What did I say? I don't speak lizard. Oh, it's a dragon. Well, dragons are lizards, I guess.
So, yeah, we've determined that they speak Draconic.
And apparently they want to be friends, and apparently the fish excites them, but they're still not feeling like coming closer.
Okay, one of the lizards that's close to Isarel walks a little closer and says, "Fish."
In common?
Yes, remember the only thing they were really able to say last time was fire hot.
Cool, got it.
Right.
I forgot about that.
It was a very intellectual conversation. So this one says, "Fish," and he can't quite say it right.
No, that's good. That's good.
That's good. That's good. He holds his hand out. That's good. That's good.
Do you want? And I'm gonna pass it closer to him.
Fish, that's good. And he holds his hand out farther.
All right, I'll give it to him, and while I'm smiling.
He tries to smile. It doesn't look good.
He's a reptile. He's always smiling.
So the moment you hand it to him, he goes to devour it. Two of his friends come over. They grab pieces and they all devour the fish raw.
We're friends. We don't want to hurt you.
They say fish good, fish good.
In Draconic?
No, in really bad common.
Fish is good.
Fish good, fish good.
Can I keep one?
I don't think that would be a great idea.
I think that's just called
Please, no.
slavery.
I think it would be kidnapping. Rather,
I think
like,
it'd be both.
yeah, it's probably bad. It's probably not a good idea. Any event, see if I can understand this. See if I can get this across. Back into Draconic. So, probably more people like us will be using this road, and I want to make sure that you're safe from them and that they're safe from you.
One of them blinks at you and says, we would not hurt travelers.
That's good, and I believe you. But I'm worried that they might be afraid of you, and they might try to hurt you. We were worried you might try to hurt us at first, but we carefully waited and watched to make sure. But other people like us, they're not so careful.
My mother taught me not to judge strangers, and I'm glad that you learned your lesson.
Yeah. My mother said similar. In any event, more people will be using the road soon. So, be safe.
We will not bother them.
I like that. I want to give him a high five.
But you're on the wagon.
Am I?
Are you? Were you walking towards them?
I thought we had to walk like 5-10 minutes over here to talk to them.
Okay, I thought you were shouting.
I
Okay,
mean,
you can
I
hold
was
up your
shouting
hand.
from, well, I figured that it sounded like the three of us moved forward.
Okay, that's fine.
So I knew that me and Israel were going to go, and then it sounded like Zero wanted to go too.
Yeah, Zero wants to keep one.
Yeah,
So-
Zero does want to keep.
Yeah.
It's not the
So,
first time,
like,
actually.
Yeah, sorry, I was shouting because you said they backed up, so it's just still over the 50 feet distance.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're going to offer a high five.
Yeah,
Well, they're going to flinch.
yeah. I'm just gonna hold my hand out there, and then after a moment, I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna just like tap the palm with my other hand and say, "Put your hand there."
I'll dash over really quick, give him a high five, and then run away.
So
just
first,
like that.
That's perfect, by the way, Bree. First, a group of them all hold up their palms and then tap their palms.
Oh no.
But then when Israel sprints over and high fives you, one of them goes over and smacks the other one's hand, and they all start laughing.
Perfect, just like that. That is what friends do.
So it's what friends do. So they all start smacking each other in the hand.
There's no way this can go badly.
No, of course not. The big, cool, tall people with the fish told them that they should smack each other in the hand, so now they're just smacking each other in the hand. So one of them comes over to you,
Yeah.
and he's laughing, and he smacks you in the hand.
Yeah, just like that.
Oh.
Just like that.
Yeah, I'm sure that people traveling through here will be happy that the kobolds are so friendly.
Just like that. Just like that. Just like that.
I
And
find them
it's-
pretty
and-
charming, actually, but they said they would keep their distance from anybody else traveling this way. I warned them that other people might be more scared than we are.
That's probably a fantastic call.
If you're leaving now, this is as they are all still smacking each other in the hands and chanting "Ha fu fa, ha fu fa." Okay, are we moving on now? Or is Zero making a friend?
She's gonna listen to the group and not take one. She wants to, though.
Remember that thing we just did with saving people who got taken by orcs?
It would be that, but in reverse.
And so, not great.
Just trying to keep that karma even. So poor Zero does not get to leave with a new friend. Winter very much wants to boop them, but is aware that she'll probably scare their pants off.
I mean, that'd probably be an improvement, since apparently when I use Draconic, they shit themselves.
It scared them, partially the deep voice, partially the fact that they understood you.
Try to keep a little differentiation between the voices so that you know when I'm changing them.
And the accent, so I know which alias you're using.
Yeah, I try to tie my accents to the aliases.
Okay, so we can move on now. We'll go until we get to Gamut. But it's been a few days. I'll update the date later. Doesn't matter. We're in the middle of Obed now, and we have arrived in Gamut. So, Frard, it was one of those journeys where you're just wanting to wind down. So I don't figure there's anything really notable happening, other than just like camaraderie and just like quiet winding down from such a arduous journey.
I'm curious as to what Frard thinks about teaching kobolds to high five.
He had nothing to say. Absolutely nothing to say. He didn't know where to start. He is very quiet.
He dead?
No, he's just
Fred's still moving.
he's just very
Weird.
quiet. He has nothing to say about the fact that you just spoke in some strange lizard tongue to a bunch of strange lizard people. However, he does get you to Gamut. And if you were wanting to arrive quietly and without any trouble, you can. You know, without fanfare, that is.
I'm personally indifferent on that.
I suppose we should be drumming up a little fanfare for it, since this is the Wagon, Flagon, Flagon Wagon, and we're supposed to be advertising.
Oh, yeah. Earn your money. If we're going to be making a big deal about the sponsorships, I'm wondering if that should be where we start next week's session. Your triumphant return to earn some big bucks.
Yeah, we also gotta sell all the stuff they gave us.
Yeah. Although I've given you the money, we can roleplay the selling of the stuff.
Oh,
See
no,
if
I
we
just
can
meant
get an
you
increase.
can hand wave it. I just mean that we have to get into the town to hand wave it.
No, yeah, I hand waved the money, but we at least have to set aside some time to sell it. Yeah, I think we should start next week with returning and trying to see just how much we can squeeze out of these people without being pressed into the vampire thing again, or solving yet another political crisis.
Yeah.
With any luck, we've got a couple months before the fires of riot start. Fires of anarchy, I guess is what I mean to say.
Very evocative terminology.
I know what I heard at that forum, and it was not great.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be perfect for a while, but you did your part. That's all I got for today. I very much appreciate everyone who showed up to listen or participate, and I'm signing out.
Bye, stream.
Goodbye.
Bye.